For most of our lives, we ask ourselves one question, right? How can I succeed? But what if that's the completely wrong question? Today, we're going to dive into a totally counterintuitive, but way more powerful path to getting what you want. And it all starts by focusing on the one thing we're all trying to avoid. So let me just ask you this, straight up. If you had a new project, a really important goal, whatever it is, how would you make absolutely 100% certain that it would fail? Seriously, just take a second and think about that. I know. It sounds really weird. Thinking about failure feels pessimistic, even a little dark. But what if I told you that systematically imagining a total disaster is actually one of the smartest things you can do to guarantee success? This isn't about being negative, it's about being strategic. Okay, so if thinking backwards is so effective, why isn't it our default? Why don't we do it naturally? Well, the answer is kind of baked into our own brains, in a few predictable blind spots we all have. This right here is the heart of the idea, put perfectly by the brilliant folks over at Farnham Street. Look, trying to come up with a once-in-a-generation brilliant idea is really, really hard. But you know what's easier? Systematically avoiding the dumb mistakes. That's a game pretty much anyone can win. So thinkers like the legendary Charlie Munger, they pointed out these little glitches in our mental software. We actively hunt for evidence that we're right. That's your confirmation bias. We think, oh, that'll never happen to me. Classic over-optimism. And if a fact is just too painful, we'll literally just ignore it. Now, these aren't character flaws. They're just our brain's default settings, and they can walk us right off a cliff. And that's the real kicker. If all you ever do is visualize success, your brain will happily just filter out all the warning signs. We end up becoming our own worst enemy, completely blind to the risks that are staring us right in the face. So if our own minds are wired to miss these traps, what do? How do we fight back? Well, lucky for us, there's a powerful mental tool designed for exactly this purpose. It's called inversion. Inversion is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. You just flip the entire problem on its head. So instead of trying to map out a path to success, you create a detailed, step-by-step blueprint for a complete and utter disaster. Because once you know exactly what leads to failure, you know exactly what you need to avoid. And hey, this isn't some new age productivity hack. All the way back in the 19th century, the mathematician Carl Jacobi famously said this. He knew that some of the gnarliest, most difficult problems could only be solved by coming at them backwards. This idea is seriously battle-tested. This is maybe the most beautiful way to think about it. When Michelangelo was asked how he created the statue of David, he said this. He didn't see it as creating a statue. He saw it as removing all the excess stone that was hiding the statue that was already there. Inversion is just like that. You're not trying to find some magic ingredient for success. You're just chipping away all the stupid mistakes that guarantee failure. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's check out a couple of really powerful examples of inversion at work. This is a classic story from Charlie Munger. During World War II, his job was to clear pilots for flight missions. Now, the standard question is, how do we keep our pilots safe? But he inverted it. He asked himself, how could I kill a lot of pilots? And the answer just jumped right out at him. The two easiest ways were to send them into icy weather conditions or to not give them enough fuel to get back. Simple. See what happened there? By focusing on the absolute worst thing that could happen, he immediately identified the two most critical risks. He didn't need some 100-point safety checklist, he just needed to obsessively avoid those two things. A positive, how to succeed mindset might have totally missed that. That's the power of this shift. In the business world, they have a name for this. It's called a pre-mortem. Before a big project even kicks off, the whole team gets in a room and they imagine it's a year from now, and the project has been a spectacular failure, a total catastrophe. Then they work backward to list all the reasons why it failed. It's brilliant because it gives everyone permission to bring up potential problems without sounding like a downer. But this isn't just for pilots or big corporations. Inversion is an incredibly practical tool that you can use every single day to make better decisions and, honestly, build a better life. Charlie Munger really drove this point home. He once gave a speech not on how to be happy or successful, but on how to guarantee a life of absolute misery. And his logic was just so simple and elegant. If you can figure out what makes people miserable and you just don't do those things, you've got a pretty darn good chance of ending up happy. So here it is, his not to-do list. It's literally a recipe for a terrible life.
Be unreliable. That'll cancel out any other good qualities you have. Let yourself be consumed by envy. Refuse to learn from anyone else's mistakes. The first time you get knocked down, just stay down. And, most importantly, never ever admit that you might be wrong. If you can just avoid doing these things, you are so far ahead of the game.
And that's really the whole point. Inversion isn't about being a pessimist. It's about finding clarity by subtracting the negatives. Once you clear away the biggest obstacles, the things that guarantee failure, sometimes the path to success is the only one that's left standing. So, I'll leave you with a challenge. The next time you have an important goal, a new job, a fitness plan, any big project, I want you to stop and ask yourself that strange question. What would I have to do to absolutely guarantee failure here? Write down the answers. Seriously, make a list. That list of things to avoid might just be the clearest roadmap to success you will ever create.